Hello and welcome to Ruth Reacts to Books. I'm your host, Ruxie Ruth McGouth, and this is Season 2, Episode 33. And today, I'm reacting to Vera Wong's Guide to Snooping on a Dead Man. And I listened to the audiobook, which is fantastic for this book. There was no copies available at the library. All checked out. Everyone's reading this book right now. This is the second book in the series. The first book is called Vera Wong's Unsolicited Advice for Murderers, and I do have Ruth Reacts to that book as well, so I'll link that in the description if you want to check out the first book in the series. So this is the second book in the series, Vera Wong's Guide to Snooping on a Dead Man. I gave this book 5 stars, so what I'll do is I'll read the description of the book, and then I'll tell you what I liked, what I didn't like, and I'll tell you about the food that I've connected with this book, and my nails, what I'm wearing today. All right, so here we go. So, ever since a man was found dead in Vera's tea house, life has been good. For Vera, that is. She is surrounded by loved ones, her shop is bustling, and best of all, her son Tilly has a girlfriend. All thanks to Vera, because Tilly's girlfriend is none other than Officer Selena Gray, the very same Officer Gray that she had harassed while investigating the tea house murder. Still, Vera wishes more dead bodies would pop up in her shop, but one mustn't be ungrateful, even if one is slightly bored. Then Vera comes across a distressed young woman who is obviously in need of her kindly guidance. The young woman is looking for a missing friend. Fortunately, while cat-sitting at Tilly and Selena's, Vera finds a treasure trove, Selena's briefcase. Inside is a file about the death of a young, enigmatic influencer who also happens to be the friend that young woman was looking for. Online, Xander had it all: a parade of private jets, fabulous parties with socialites, and a burgeoning career as a social media influencer. The only problem is, after his body is fished out of Mission Bay, the police can't seem to actually identify him. Who is Xander Lin? Nobody knows. Every contact is a dead end. Everybody claims not to know him, not even his parents. Vera is determined to solve Xander's murder. After all, doing so would surely be a big favor to Selena, and there's nothing she wouldn't do for her future daughter-in-law. All right, so I gave the book 5 stars, which means I loved it. And so what did I like about the book, or love about the book? So I gave the first book, I think, 5 stars as well. So I love Jessie Q. Sutanto, who wrote these books. So far, both the books I have read, which are the Vera Wong series, are fantastic. Just the way that she brings the characters to life, I just find them really wonderful. I was not sure if the second book would be like too similar to the first book. I wasn't sure if she would be able to pull off a second one that was going to really be able to bring the characters to life without being like too similar to the first one. But I really was impressed with how, this kind of very sort of charismatic, but also, Vera's not exactly bumbling, but she kind of is in a way. She kind of does a lot of things wrong, but also somehow right at the same time. It's hard to describe if you haven't read the books and gotten to know the character yet. But she does a lot of things that are very loving and heartwarming, even though she may not do them all quite right, which maybe that describes a lot of us in life. But she's definitely a very caring person at the bottom of it, if maybe she goes about things in the wrong way. And we meet a whole slew of new characters in this book that, become heartwarming. And I was worried that this might be a carbon copy of kind of the same. And in the first book, we met a whole bunch of characters. And so I was worried it might be sort of too similar to the first one, and that it would be like a carbon copy of exactly the same format, but it turned out like it took a veer and it was slightly different enough that it really was its own book, and the mystery was different enough that it was really good. It was super heartwarming, very much like a deep and lovely story that I just thought really by the end of the book had me like just almost actually liking this one even more than I liked the first one. Like I thought the mystery even here was had more depth to it, like definitely had more depth to it than the first one did. And I really liked it so much. So I absolutely highly recommend to all of you to go out and read both of the Vera Wong books. The audiobook was also amazing. If you're not a reader, the person who reads it is fantastic, does a great job of bringing the characters to life. So get on the list on Libby if you like to read for free. You can probably wait for it there, or if you have an Audible account, you can use a credit to get the book. Totally worth it. So for my food, Vera is a fan of food for sure in the book. So we meet a couple different people in the book that have to do with food, but Vera is always cooking. Okay, throughout the entire book, she's constantly cooking for everyone, everywhere she goes. And one of the things she brings around is Bao Buns. And I have recently been eating some Bao Buns. I work for a university, and I happen to get a discount from the job that I do in our wonderful, amazing dining centers. And we have chefs that create the menus. And one of the things they do is vegetarian Bao Buns there. So I have gotten to enjoy some amazing Bao Buns in our dining centers. And so I have a recipe that I've put for Bao Buns. I've included a video because I like the idea of making a Bao Bun sounds really scary. Because it's like a dough you have to make and then you steam it. So I have included a video if you want to watch a video about how to do it. And then also a link that has like a vegetarian filling, but then the video talks about how to make a meat filling. So for everyone out there, there's options for everyone. Because Vera is always bringing her Bao Buns in the book to people to help them be filled up. She wants to feed everybody. I thought about doing dumplings as well, because there's a person in the book who makes dumplings, and I recently made dumplings, and they were kind of a lot labor intensive to make, but dang, were they delicious. So, but Bao Buns is where I went with this one. So I got some links for you there. And then for my nails, this was a hard one. For the first Vera book, I went with art, like an artistic theme, because the crime had to do with art, but this crime had nothing to do with anything that had anything to do with like that I could even connect to nails. So I had to go like a very basic way. So these nails are called Last Call, and I just went with a brownish nail because she owns a tea house and tea is brown. So like I was very much reaching, but I've been wanting to wear these for a long time. I've had them for a long time in my collection of nails that I have, and I haven't been able to wear them. So tea is brown, and that's why I'm wearing these nails this week, because Vera owns a tea house. There you go. That's where we're at. I forgot to say what I didn't like. Honestly, there wasn't that much I didn't like. I had to sort of reach for it, and for the first part of the book, it sort of felt like it was the same as the last book. It was very much following the same sort of path. That was the only thing I didn't like. But then, as I mentioned, at some point it veered, and it was definitely different in some of the things that happened. And obviously the characters are different. So, yeah. Highly recommend. Everyone should go read this book. I hope you all have a great week, and I'll be back next week with yet another episode of Ruth Reacts to Books. By the way, my friend Jill Hathaway has written a book. It's not this one. And it's called, It's Not Who You Think, and it's out there in stores. So I should bring that. Maybe I'll do a special on, obviously I'm going to do a Ruth Reacts when I read that one, but I just wanted to let you all know it's under her pen name, Arbor Sloan. So go out and buy that book, because that's a really neat thing. It's a real person that we all know from Iowa. So y'all should go out and buy that book. It's Not Who You Think by Arbor Sloan. Available now anywhere that you buy books. I got mine from Barnes & Noble. So, all right. Bye, guys. Have a great week.